Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. The Heard Museum, located in downtown Phoenix, displays the rich and vibrant world of American Indian art, from traditional artworks to contemporary creations and live events. In the studio to tell us more is Melina Cicchini, Heard Museum Community Engagement Coordinator, and Marcus Mononakirk, Heard Museum Director of Community Engagement. Hello, Marcus and Melina. Welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Thanks for having us.
Hello, thank you.
Super excited. Marcus hasn't been on in a long time. Melina, welcome. You've never done this before, so welcome. It'll be a lot of fun. Before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your journey. I guess, Marcus, we'll start on this one with you.
Well, thank you. My name is Marcus Mononakit, and I've been at the Heard Museum. I'm in my 28th year at the Heard Museum, so it's a pretty amazing place, as you might imagine, to be employed that long. And I started out in collections, but for the last 10 years or so, I've been working in the education department, doing outreach and workshops, for the community.
Okay, so when you started, I have to ask, sorry, Melina, I just want to ask him a couple questions. When you do collections, you wear the gloves, right?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And you're really careful with everything?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
You're very much responsible for everything in the collection.
That's pretty cool. Okay, we'll get back to that in a minute. All right, and Melina, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey to the Heard.
Well, I started at the Heard in February 2023 as an intern.
Oh.
So I got an internship with them as soon as I graduated from ASU with a fine arts degree. So I pretty much was with them for a few months, and then I went from contractor with Marcus's team, and then I soon became a full-time employee as of November of 2024.
So what do you do?
So I am the community engagement coordinator. I help assist Marcus on everything with community engagement related, outreach, workshops, Indian Fair Market.
My gosh, that sounds like, and Marcus, I know you've got a huge job, and it's
Yeah.
really busy this time of year.
I'd say it's maybe the biggest job, but perhaps other people might argue. But for sure, you could say it's one of the best jobs there, because we get to engage the community and, get that kind of diversity and feel their energy. It's great.
It is, and I know the Heard was recently named as one of the top museums in the country, correct? I know it's been named a lot of things,
yeah,
but
we regularly get awards there at the Heard Museum. It's very well known and a professional staff.
it's an amazing place. For people that haven't been there, it is an amazing place. I'm going to jump ahead and ask a question, because I know we're going to talk about the Heard and where it's located and the hours and things like that. If you've got tribal ID, there's no cost, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as you have that ID. Most people carry it on their phone these days, too, so you
Okay.
can just whip out your phone. And
Okay, and that allows people to get in and
Mm-hmm.
see all the different exhibitions.
Yep.
And what exhibitions there right now?
Oh, right now we've got a Kay Walking Stick. It's one of our largest exhibitions, so it's kind of a retrospective of her work, but it's also paired with an exhibit from Hudson Bay artists, so some older artists, and you're looking at landscapes, kind of that idyllic landscape from the Hudson Bay painters to Kay Walking Stick with the native kind of lens at landscape. So it's a very interesting piece. Probably our most popular exhibition, of course, is the boarding school exhibition, and that's been on exhibition since 2000. We renovated it a few years back, but it's probably never going to leave, just because of the important message that it brings and carries with it. Most people will come through and say, I didn't realize that. Now the public is getting a lot more, smarter in that sense, knowing the history, but still there's a lot of gaps. And we also have an exhibition called Substance of Stars, which is very interesting in that it gives that star knowledge, and it has a immersive film in there. So it's very new to kind of the Heard Museums.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. I have seen the boarding school since it was renovated. I saw that right after it reopened, and it's a beautiful exhibition.
Yeah,
And it is gut-wrenching and emotional and, beautifully done. I think you all did a great job on it, but it's super important that people go see it and learn. All right, well, I'm going to back up a little bit. So let's talk about what the Heard is. The Heard Museum has been in existence for how long?
Since 1929.
Okay, so what is that?
We're
Almost 100 years
We're
old.
approaching our 100th
Oh my gosh.
year. Yeah, it's going to be a big big next 3 years for the Herd Museum as we ramp up towards that December of 2029.
Okay. And who is the Herd, a nonprofit?
The Herd is a 501c3.
Okay.
The founders came from Chicago. They were a white couple that moved down here to for health reasons primarily. The gentleman had some lung ailments, and so they moved here. And then May Bartlett, though, she comes from an art background, and their family was very much involved in the art scene in Chicago. And they came from wealth and some privilege, and they were very much about the art scene there. And when they came here, they started to, gravitate towards the arts and community service is what she was into.
So they founded the Herd.
They founded the Herd, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Herd is near Native Health Central. It's down on Central Avenue. And I want to say, is it in Canto?
Yep, right there at that intersection. Right
Okay.
on the light rail.
Right on the light rail.
There's
You
a
can take
stop
light rail.
there.
There's a
Yeah.
stop there.
There's a
I know
stop
it's across the street from Intertribal Council of Arizona.
Yes.
It's a beautiful building. It's not old. It's fairly new, correct?
The Herd?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1929. All the pieces are there from 29 through the expansions of 69 and to the 80s and through the 1998 when it really expanded. It almost doubled in size then, and reorientated the entrance to the Central at that point. It was always along Monte Vista.
Okay.
The entrance, but
on the south side.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that and the parking is super easy there for people that haven't been there. And you've got a beautiful restaurant and a delicious restaurant. I've eaten there, and the gift shop's great too. Right?
Yeah,
all those
probably.
things. I mean, it's got everything, right?
Premier gift shops for museums around the country.
You can spend your
sure.
entire day there easily, and you can get in with your tribal ID,
yeah,
the CIB.
The
So
gift
you
shop's
could do
almost like a museum in itself.
Yeah, so you could do all kinds of stuff. All right. So what have you got planned for the spring? So I know you've got some big event coming up, and what might that be?
Well, we've got our biggest event of the year coming up, and it's March 7th and 8th, and it's the Herd Fair, the 68th annual?
68th annual.
68th annual Herd Fair and Market, and we'll have, right now I have 633 artists coming down. There's entertainment, there's food, and the museum, all included. Natives have a little discount, and I believe, and then, everything's included there. So
600?
633
Oh my gosh.
currently.
Currently. It changes every day.
And you all have to manage all those people? Check-ins and all of that?
We do.
Yes.
That's a lot.
We've been working on this since June.
Oh my gosh.
So
It's
Okay.
a year-round event for us.
That's okay. And then so I know that you generally have like the best of show, right?
right,
And that is judged like the night before?
it's judged Thursday night, so
Okay.
all the artists will be coming into town. They'll be here. Some of them are already arriving, and they come in on Thursday, drop off their materials to be judged. Friday morning, everybody's calling like, who won? Because it's probably the largest prize money of any Native show in the country. It's $25,000 for the grand prize.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's
okay,
a good prize,
so
yeah.
now for the best of show, what does that entail? Is it like, can it be any medium, or are there divisions?
All those divisions then culminate into the best of show.
Okay, so which divisions are they? So like sculpture, or?
Sculpture, jewelry, textiles, diverse art, which is beadwork, paintings, of course, pottery, basketry. All
Wow.
of them are there, and then they all compete for the best of show.
Okay, so let's back up. So when you've got a division, then do people apply to each division? Do you have X amount of slots? Like, do you have 100 for pottery and 50 for beadwork? Does it work like that, or is it just people just apply?
People will just apply with the artwork that they produce, and they can enter into 2 different divisions or classifications. You could be a jeweler and you could be a potter. Or, you can do jewelry, you can do beadwork. A lot of people do double classifications.
So Marcus, I think there's a youth component, right, to that show?
Yes, it's been running not nearly as long as 68 years, but it has produced some very fabulous youth artists that have gone on to participate in the larger fair.
Really?
Yeah, so that's really neat to see that over the years, seeing artists that kind of graduate up.
Have you seen some of the art this year? Like, have they started bringing it in, the youth,
They
or
have,
not yet?
yeah, yes, they have.
Oh,
We sneaked in there the other day to look at it. And it's nice, you know.
Melina, did you go in and see it?
I have not yet.
Oh.
I'm very excited. Each year, the youth impress me with how creative they are and how much talent they all have.
I just think the show overall is like an incredible experience. I always like to get there early before parking gets busy.
That's a
And get
good
in
idea.
and see everything and whatever you're going to do, buy, shop, watch. People watch. People watching's great. I
Yeah,
think it's a lot of fun.
yeah. Saturday is a great day to be there. The weather will be great. The food will be ready to go, and the artists as well. So plan on being there early. Sunday is a nice day too to visit, you know, because it's a little more relaxed.
It is
on
definitely,
Sunday.
yes,
Yeah,
not
so
lines of people.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to ask, what's the food?
Food is fry bread. Yeah, it's
Okay.
native junk food almost. You know, we call it.
And who's making it this time?
I
Is it?
can't remember that
Okay.
one. Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, so besides that, besides the herd market, which I know is your largest, biggest, very popular event, what else do you have going on at the herd? I know you've got First Fridays, and I know the last one, I heard the Bluebird Show. I heard actually from a lot of people that was one of their favorite First Fridays.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, the Bluebird connects to a lot of
Yeah.
natives.
Yeah. So what else have you got for First Fridays? Anything you can share that's coming up for First Fridays, like starting in April? I know this First Friday is this month, but that you're getting ready for the show. But next month, anything planned? Or anything you can mention?
We got something coming up in for First Friday in May. April will be just a First Friday. We'll be open for First Friday, but it is a holiday. It's a religious holiday on that.
Oh, that's right.
That day.
Yep.
So
Okay.
instead of programming,
Yep.
we just kind of want to be open so we don't lose that momentum.
Okay.
But in May, be ready for this. It's connecting to an exhibition called Wisdom from the Future, and we're bringing in Jones Benally. So one of the old-time hoop dancers. He's still hoop dancing, and he's got a lot of wisdom. And the theme of the show is, what would today's artists and dancers tell the younger selves? So what kind of message would they send to their younger selves if they could? So wisdom from the future is the
Very
theme.
cool.
And we're bringing Jones Benally in for May 1st Friday. So
Okay.
that is May 1st, too.
Okay. Okay.
So
May
that
Day. Okay.
that'll be a great day. But April 11th, if we do back up a little bit, April 11th is the Katsina Doll Marketplace. And
That's
so
another
there'll be-
big one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of market opportunities there inside the Steel Opportunity. But we're also doing a concert on that day. So Keith Sokola
Oh, yeah.
will be at the Herd Museum.
We love Keith Sokola.
Starting at 3
He did
p.m.
He did our theme song for this show.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So he's been in the scene for a long time, and
Yep.
he'll be performing with One Way Sky.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
We've
gonna
had them
be
on, too.
A great
Adrian.
community art program.
Okay, so now is that open to everybody?
That's open to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll also do a Bluebird fashion show. So
On that day, too?
on that same day,
Oh
it's
my
a
gosh.
community art event.
It's a community fashion show, so we would love for everybody to show up in their whole Bluebird inspired outfits, bags, purses. It's just Bluebird
Aprons.
aprons.
Everybody here has a Bluebird apron. Everybody here has Bluebird aprons and all
Yes.
kinds of stuff. Okay, so that's April 11th. So it's going to be Katsina Marketplace.
Yes.
It's going to be Keith Sokola's concert, and then the Bluebird Fashion Show, all in the same time and day and event, right?
Yes, all on that
Yes.
Saturday.
Our the Keith Sokola will be wrapping up the afternoon at 3 p.m.
Okay.
So our community art gathering will be from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. That sounds like that's going to be a really fun event. Okay, and I know sometimes you do, I don't know what they're called. I can't remember what they're called, like classes for elders.
We do. We have creative aging
That's
program.
right. That's what it is. Sorry.
And they're so popular we can hardly open them up, and then the next day they're
They're full. Yeah, I
It just,
hear that.
It's
Yeah.
just overnight. there's 20 people will sign up overnight. But we have a couple inspired by the Bluebird exhibit, aprons. We'll be doing some aprons, and then we're going to do a bucket hat.
A reversible bucket hat.
But if people are interested in, being a part of those, just reach out to us at education@herd.org.
Okay.
And so you can just send us emails, and get on the list.
They fill so fast. Like, I wouldn't even say like overnight. Like within a couple hours.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
they
We're always
definitely
like astonished at how fast it goes. People really want this type of engagement.
Definitely.
It's healing. In fact, to be in there with other people with similar experiences, looking for kind of, that community building togetherness. It's great.
Is that funded by like a company, or is that just something the Herd does?
It's a private foundation.
It's a private foundation does that?
Yeah, and they like to remain anonymous, but they've been with us since 2014.
Okay.
Doing these programs.
You guys do the most amazing, creative, I don't know. I just think some great stuff over there.
Well, we're standing on the shoulders of giants at the Herd Museum. There's been a lot of staff that came before us, and they really positioned the museum in a great way that other foundations, when they're ready to, make that deal, they could look at the Herd because of our experience, because of the people and the staff that have been there, and that we've got a great record, of being in the community and doing good things.
But you're a world-class museum, and you all do such an exceptional job.
Well, thank you.
It's a beautiful place. And you do such great things.
We really strive for that.
So I know you've got a program. I think it's called the Herdlings, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's for little kiddos.
Yeah, the little.
And I know, do you do any kind of programming for them that is cultural? I know some of that's geared for tourists, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, anything for like locals or?
We certainly do. April 26th, we're doing Dia del Nino, so that's a day for kids.
Oh, that's right.
And this year it's going to be Embrace Your Inner Herdlings.
Oh.
So that's the theme.
And what are you going to be doing? Melina, do you know, or can you not say?
Oh, from what I know, and I've been seeing all the planning and just how the team's been putting it together, it's going to be vibrant art making activities, live music, and dance from Latin communities.
Oh, all right. That's going to be fun. All right. And then I know you sometimes have other signature events. So I know that we're in Phoenix, we're going into kind of like our downtime in the summer. It's hot. Not a lot happens. Do you have anything planned for the summer that's inside, or what's up in the fall?
Well, for the summer, we do a lot of the workshops, because the kids are out of school. Right. So we try to do family workshops. There is a family workshop coming up that people can take part of on March 22nd, actually.
Okay, and what's that one?
I think that's going to be a jewelry or something. I can't remember. Or sewing.
March 22nd, it's going to be a one-day family painting workshop.
Oh, I was way off.
Okay, and who qualifies or who can enroll into that?
So it is a registration is required as space is limited. It's open to everybody as long as you register, and there's 2 different hours. I know there's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and a 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay, and who's painting? Do you know? Like who? Like, is it going to be like an artist-led activity, or
yes, it is going to be an artist-led.
I don't know who the artist is that they have. The whole staff at the Herd Museum in our education department are all former art teachers. So,
okay.
They're there too to help you.
Are they going to be doing? Is it going to be on canvas or on something else? Do you know? Like what they're painting on?
I do not know.
You don't know? Okay.
We've been doing a watercolor class, which has been really successful.
Oh, that's cool.
We're doing it in response to the K walking stick. So we've been making landscape watercolors on Tuesdays. But that ended just recently, and we had quite a good success. So we're trying different things at the museum, workshop-wise.
It's hard. It's like we do this, not this hard, but it's always a challenge to come up with things that people like and resonate and cost-effective and engaging. I mean, same as you do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we try to come up with different ideas. All right, so if people are just like new to the art scene and you've got artists, what do you suggest they do? Or if they're interested in getting either their art into the museum or at the gift shop, what suggestions or ideas do you have? So let's just say I'm a budding artist and I think my stuff's really good. How do I get into the Herd? What do I do?
Wow, that's a great question, and I've had that asked of me over the years. My response is generally, start local, start like just putting yourself out there online, being recognized so people can see your work, and then you get that feedback, and that's important for artists. To put yourself out there and see what kind of appreciation comes back or what people's responses are to your work. Now, there's a lot of times people will respond to that and make their work, something that's not them, something that's not authentic, if you will,
Right.
From their own experience or their own memories. But a lot of times that works in your favor because then you can kind of shift it and kind of understand the market or understand the buyer a little bit better, But there are also artists that do it for themselves and aren't interested in what the market says, And I kind of like those guys because it's just like,
That would be me.
do it, just do it and apologize later, because this is
Hey,
what
listen,
I made.
you got to be yourself, right?
Right.
You've got
True
to
self.
be able to sleep at night and know that you did the best you could do for yourself. All right, so we're pretty much out of time, but I wanted to find out, how can our listeners find more information about the Heard Museum, the market, your social media? How can they contact you? First Fridays. Melina, anything you want to tell us? Like, how can they find out?
Well, for a lot of that information, I do recommend going to our heard.org website. We have many of our events on there. If you have any questions, what Marcus was saying, go to our education email. Also ask some questions.
And what's that email? Education.
Education@heard.org.
Okay. And then I know you have social media. What are your platforms? Your handles? Is it the Heard or Heard.org?
Heard.org or Heard Museum.
Okay.
We're on Facebook and Instagram, and that's all I know. I'm kind of an older gentleman, so I'm not so much involved in that.
Those are the two main platforms. Yes.
But I
All
appreciate
right.
what
So
they
the
do
handles
for
are
us.
Heard
Yes.
Museum. I was just looking it up.
Thank you.
So it's Heard Museum on Instagram, and I assume Facebook is the same as well.
Yes.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on. I know you're super busy getting ready for the market this weekend. I think it's going to be great. One quick question: is the restaurant going to be open?
The restaurant will be
Yes.
open, but
All right.
you get there early, like you said.
Get
It
there
gets
early,
crowded.
and it's an amazing event. You guys do a great job. So
Thanks.
thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thank you for the kind words, and thanks for having us.
Coming up next on Native Talk Arizona, host Susan Levy talks with Valerie Seacrest, co-director and educator of Native Plants and Food Institute. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 8800 North 22nd Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. And Native Health provides primary medical services at the new Guadalupe Health Center, 6725 South Priest Drive in Guadalupe. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You are listening to Come Find Me by Pleasure Cult.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. The Native Plants and Foods Institute connects people with plants, native foods, local ecosystems, and cultural traditions for various ages, cultures, abilities, and learning environments, including behavioral health programs, community health and wellness facilities, early childhood education, K-12 schools, and other outdoor education programs. On the phone to tell us more is Valerie Seacrest, co-director and educator of Native Plants and Foods Institute. Valerie, welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Thank you for having me.
Super excited. I was checking out your stuff, and it looks so amazing. I know you're in the Northwest, but I can't wait to learn more. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Well, my name is Valerie Seacrest, and I'm a member of the Muckleshoot tribe located just south of Seattle, Washington, at the base of Mount Rainier. We call it Tahoma or Tacoba. And my background is in nutrition and traditional foods and medicines, particularly of the Salish Sea region. I am a plant addict. I love anything to do with our plant medicines and talking about our traditional foods and uplifting those folks who are active in those spaces, really like spending time with people who have that deep knowledge of the wisdom that the land and waters holds for us. And I guess I came to this work, I often tell people, just because like I was hungry and got really excited about going down rabbit holes and finding rabbits and learning about the power our traditional foods have, not just to feed us very adequately, but sort of like crack open the field of nutrition and push back on our foods are much more than macro and micronutrients to be counted on a plate, which is what I was taught when I went to school for nutrition. They connect us in many ways. They help us find purpose and meaning and the ability to be generous in our communities. And that has a real powerful potential for us to be able to stand on the right side of our healing story and lift up this traditional food knowledge that's fed us for so well for so long.
So how did you get started in going into nutrition, I guess? That since you mentioned that you went to school for nutrition, how'd you get interested in that?
I had a job working for my tribal elder program. My work was really about helping our elders navigate health systems and food systems. I would clean their homes and take them to cultural events and take them to their doctors, and they sort of had this full picture of their health and what they were going through every single day. And I'd ask them, what do you think that you would need to help heal yourself? And every single one of them just really lifted up the message that if they really believed that if they had access to their traditional foods and medicines, that they would not have these chronic diseases that we're faced with in Indian country, like heart disease and inflammation in the body and obesity and type 2 diabetes, which, by the way, didn't exist here pre-contact. The first case recorded diabetes in the Pacific Northwest tribal communities was in the 1950s. And now it's among the top 3 causes of mortality in our community. And so I really heard this as like the work that I really wanted to go learn how to do and understand the language, the sort of scientific medical language, to be able to speak that in doctors' offices and in spaces that you can really reach with that type of language, but also the power to be able to heal ourselves generationally through increasing access to traditional foods and medicines. Not wasn't very easy. There's not a nutrition program that really incorporates community nutrition approaches. You kind of have to figure it out yourself. But I also just owe all that guidance to our ancestors and the elders and the youth, really, that also inspire us to continue to do this work.
Tell us about the Native Plants and Food Institute.
The Native Plants and Foods Institute is a body of work that has really encompassed our passion and interest for native plants and foods and the connection that we need to be able to make to modern day educational systems. So a lot of our curriculum is aligned to next gen science standards and core concepts, things that teachers can utilize in classrooms to build out, matrices that help achieve those academic standards that people need, but are also, more importantly, founded in understanding that learning begins with relationship and that we're not just teaching students about plants. We're helping them really remember that they're not separate from the living world, that we're inextricably intertwined with the living world. And when that shift happens for students, everything about learning changes, that students become more curious, more observant, more confident, more connected, and not just to the land, but to themselves and to their communities. And don't we all need more of that these days? So we really do center and focus on supporting educators that need resources and communities that need tools to be able to be successful in these teaching moments, but that also our students need opportunities to learn from the land in ways that affirm who they are and where they come from. The Institute exists for those purposes. We're also just acknowledging that we're one small part of a much larger movement, a movement of, Indigenous people revitalizing food systems, protecting ecosystems, teaching youth, restoring those relationships. We want to support educators because we understand that we're all in a position to reach young people during the most important years of their development. And it's precisely why we create curriculum that helps students really learn through plants and also, provide that training so teachers feel confident bringing this knowledge into their classrooms. So we're fanatics about the work that we do. Also, I want to say everything that we develop is out of a request from the communities we aim to serve, and it's co-developed alongside them as well. So we are writing, developing, testing, and refining all of our curriculum alongside tribal communities to make sure that it is exactly what is going to be the most useful for them.
So it's your passion project, and it's your love.
Yes.
Obviously.
We're 1,500 pages deep now at this point. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
In the best way, though.
Yeah. All right. You mentioned a little bit about how you got interested in some of this. Tell us more about your culinary history, your strategic communications and food systems, and why and how you got interested in Indigenous cooking, which you mentioned working with the elders and reducing chronic disease and nutrition and food sovereignty. Anything you want to add to that?
I didn't get my credentials in a fancy culinary arts school or anything like that. I did go to school at Bastyr University to study nutrition, which is a really well-known naturopathic medicine school. We were required to learn how to make food taste delicious. So not only were we studying biochemistry and anatomy and physiology and the glucose, the Krebs cycle, the metabolic cycle, we also had to spend our afternoons in the nutrition kitchen developing recipes that taste good alongside chefs who were really, really good at making, vegan cuisine. So some of the most challenging ways in which you have to not only tell people eat more vegetables, but why don't people like vegetables? Because they often aren't made, with the best approaches. And so understanding how to correctly saute an onion or, braise a Brussels sprout actually makes all the difference for whether or not people are going to pick up a fork and eat their vegetables. I guess that's my background, but I always joke that after I got my degree in nutrition, I went and got what I call my native PhD, where I, worked alongside cooks in the kitchen, feeding 1,500 students a day for tribal schools, or at major culture events like Canoe Journey, where our cooks are feeding 10,000 people a day, and lifting up traditional foods along the way, helping to hold and host workshops where we would identify champions of that food in the community, maybe a salmon filleting workshop, and really honing my skills on all of that, alongside my community.
Wow, so you do it all.
Well, I love to eat, don't we all? We need to but I was hungry, like I said.
You said 1,500 pages of curriculum and then salmon classes. So I know your foods are very different up there than the ones we've got down in the Southwest. But do you think that Indigenous foods intersect with health and mental health? You've alluded to it a little bit or mentioned it a little bit. Do you think also mental health ties in with that as well?
Absolutely. In fact, we actually have a whole section of our curriculum that is called Plants for Social Emotional Learning, because so many of our plant teachers also, they teach us by just being who they are. They're obviously not teaching through spoken word like I am today, but just by being a living example of how to live a good life. And plant people do that really well. So, for example, I'm trying to think of like a plant that grows in the Southwest. We have a whole entire learning module on yarrow, which is a plant up here, but it grows all over the world. And I'm pretty sure it grows in the Phoenix area, in the Arizona area. And the teaching for yarrow is that it helps us to set boundaries. And why are boundaries important? And so we sort of unravel this dialectical behavioral theory of thinking through the plant teachings. And these are lessons that are largely grew out of our concern for what children were going through during COVID, what the impacts were of that like isolation, and how do we help build that mental health stamina for a generation that is going to be growing into a future that's going to face a lot of challenges, and how do we just build that stamina within them through these plant teachings. And so we see it time and time again. People who, and not just like medicines, I've also watched folks who are veterans who have picked up a food tradition of, cooking in a traditional pit oven, and have reported that they, no longer need to take their meds because they feel this sense of purpose and belonging, and the ability to demonstrate that they can do something within the community, and that fills that need for them. And so they've become these like traditional pit cooks that go around and feed us really well and give us that like ancestral flavor that you would only get in an earthen oven. I witnessed those stories. It's the honor of my life to have been witness to those stories over the last 15 years.
Valerie, do you have programs
Yeah.
for other climates and geographical locations?
Actually, we do. We have some partnerships with Alaska Health Programs, and are also working on a project right now with the Wind River Food Sovereignty Project out of Wyoming. We've done work with the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma, and I think we're going to continue doing that work soon. The way we've designed and written our curriculum materials is actually so that it can be a framework for what's useful and the most like, cultural keystone sort of species in your area. So some of them we've really tried to be more inclusive of. Like we've written a lot about wild strawberry, and we know that grows all over Turtle Island. But then there's also, foods that are very particular to that area. So for example, with the Wind River Food Sovereignty Project, we're talking about squash and corn and buffalo. And again, those materials are developed by people within the community that we are helping to, narrate and then also demonstrate how we teach and what those teaching methods might be most effective for the way they want to implement the work in their region. So we really do co-develop these materials within the communities that they aim to serve.
So I checked out your website and I saw that you have like educational toolkits. And I watched the video, or I saw the information on the Cedar Box experience. Can you tell our listeners what that is? I thought it looked really amazing, unique, engaging. But what is that?
The Cedar Box experience is based off of our Cedar Box Teaching Toolkit series that we developed for Washington State tribes in collaboration with the Burke Museum and several tribes, including my own. And it started out as actually a physical box. Like we have these cedar bentwood boxes that we have historically used to boil water in, store food in. It was sort of like a backpack of its time. And we still do those demonstrations in person. But then we also realized that we couldn't make a whole bunch of these and send them out because they're pretty hard to curate, and that people could get just as much information going to the website, thecedarboxexperience.com, where you can click on the Cedar Box and all these foods come out. They're like 13 quintessential foods from the Northwest. And if you click on, salmon or clams or huckleberry or camas or hazelnuts, you get an entire learning module with videos included so that you kind of get that experience, even if you can't be here with us, and that that limitation you have of we can only teach so many people because we only have so many educators and so much time in the year. So it's meant to entice you to think about the land and the foods of that land and the flavors and the taste, and then to learn a little bit more and hear from the communities involved in, being the caretakers of that food for several generations. Should check it out.
Yeah, so I've got a question. I don't think it's the best question I've ever written, but do you find that students learn more as they play games, watch videos, listen to the stories, and explore the sights and sounds of the cultural ecosystems of the Pacific Northwest, like a multi-sensory experience, which that is? I'm assuming, or I'm positive the answer is yes, that they do learn more, they do engage, more interested. Would you agree with that?
I think so. It's a tough call for us to make because we're obviously lovers of the outdoors as developers and as a network of educators. We really want to see people, get outside, get their hands in the dirt, hands physically on plants, tasting, touching. But we also recognize that we live in a time where we can reach people really effectively with these sort of digital experiences. And so we think through it before we, encourage those things. We're thinking through how to keep that stuff safe online, what's appropriate to share, all of those types of things. But I do think it gets people excited and can be a doorway to encourage them to go outside and try these things out for themselves.
Good answer. Okay. So, and why do you think it's important to educate and hand these recipes down to the youth?
Well, because that's what our ancestors have done for thousands of years. I think about this all the time with one of our curriculum sets we teach is called Native Infusion or Rethink Your Drink. And it's really about lifting up ancestral beverages and drinking more water, of course, but also water plus nettles or strawberry leaf equals great levels of calcium and all these other, it can really boost the nutritional value in your diet by just drinking more of these medicine teas that our ancestors made sure that we had access to. They refined and perfected these recipes for thousands of years and handed them down. It's up to us, this generation to continue to pass that recipe on or trade it for some sugary beverage on the shelf. We have the responsibility to pass it on to the next generation so that we can honor the ancestral work that went into making sure that we have these recipes. And I think it's such a fun, awesome responsibility to have.
Do you find that the youth are interested in it?
Yes, I think that they are absolutely interested in it. We often, I don't know, I hear from people, a range of people that say, really pessimistic about whether youth care about this stuff or not. But what I often find is if I'm, as a nutritionist, telling youth, drink more of this tea because it's got calcium in it, they're really bored. They really don't really care about the scientific elements of nutrition. But if I tell them, hey, this is something that your ancestors, drank for generations, and there are creation stories involved in this cup of tea that involve, the love a father had for his daughter, and he was so worried because she was so sick that he knew this medicine tea would make her feel better. Do you want to try some? And the kids are just like, yes. They're hungry for stories and connection. Stories like that where, that family tie that really was worried and cared for their health versus, trying to explain to them the metabolic cycle of calcium in the body, how important that opportunity is to connect to our foods and through healing, through story.
All right. So, and I don't have a lot of time, but I have a couple more questions for you. What's your favorite indigenous ingredient in the Pacific Northwest that you use?
Oh my gosh, it's such a such a hard question for me to answer. But I mean, people know I'm pretty obnoxious about stinging nettle. It's one of my favorite plants in the entire world. I consider it to be my very first plant teacher. It's happening right now. It's been a very warm winter here in the Northwest, unfortunately, and not a lot of snowpack for us. And so the spring greens are starting to appear on the forest floor, and nettles are the first ones to come out in the springtime. And we eat them. You harvest them, you add a little heat, and it denatures the sting. So you're not just like stinging yourself in the mouth, which sounds horrible. But yeah, you saute them just like you would any kind of braised green or sauteed spinach or kale or chard or anything like that. You would just use nettles in place of it. And it helps to build your strength. It helps to completely remanufacture your blood, grow healthy hair, skin, and nails. It's got a little bit of antihistamine powers in it, so it helps you get through the seasonal allergy time that's upon us. And then later on in the year, you dry it out and drink it for tea. And again, it's got that like iron, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, all the things our body uses to manufacture blood, and then also gently detoxify our liver and kidneys. So we build our strength and we let go of what no longer serves us by incorporating nettles into our life. And I think that they are just the most incredible dynamic accumulator that we've ever known in this world. They're absolutely my favorite.
Ooh, I'll have to visit up there and try it. We don't have those down here, as far as I know. All right, so since we're almost done, what kind of projects are you working on that you have coming up?
Well, our big focus right now is actually on a climate resilience version of our curriculum. So we have heard from so many elders in our area that they are really concerned about the impacts that climate change is having on our traditional foods and medicines. And we're pulling what we can from our materials, and also listening to our educators around what would be the most useful information to help sort of prepare our youth for the very hard decisions they're going to be making in the future. And how do we, pull in those social emotional teachings as well to help them feel somewhat prepared to deal with the realities in the future around climate change. And we also, I have seen a lot of climate change initiatives happening that just haven't had Indigenous people involved in them. Maybe they were an afterthought, maybe they were somehow included later on, but those, the success or failure of those programs hinges on how well we acknowledge and include our traditional ecological knowledge systems that Indigenous people have held up and still carry to this day. So our next project is really about that. Like, what does climate resilience look like through food systems and traditional medicine systems?
You guys have such great projects, really innovative, and they sound super engaging. I mean, anyway. Okay, so we're pretty much out of time. How can our listeners learn more about the Native Foods and Plant Institute, view your online videos and curricula, and how can they contact you?
Yeah, so we have a website, thenativeplantsandfoods.org, and on that website, you can get all this information about us, our educational toolkits, more information around our services and trainings, our resources. We have an entire resource page that will connect you to the Cedar Box experience. And we're also, in the next few months here, we're going to be launching a portal, which will, it's like our curriculum portal. So you can log into the portal and get access to all of our curriculum sets, the 10 Gather Grow, the Cedar Box Experience, Native Infusion, one on the 13 Moons, which was done in collaboration with the Swinomish tribe, and several other curriculum sets.
Okay, and your website again?
nativeplantsandfoods.org.
Okay, and any social media?
No.
Okay, that's okay. You guys are super. No, you're super responsive. I mean, I emailed, and you all emailed back quickly, and hence your radio interview. So, anyway, Great website. I love the videos. I thought they were really, and some of the materials you've developed, I thought were really, really interesting, beautiful, and engaging. So I encourage our listeners to check out your website. And again, what's the website one more time?
NativePlantsandFoods.org.
Okay. And I would love to come visit and try stinging nettles and taste them. But Valerie, thanks for coming on today and telling us about all that you're doing. It sounds like great programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy. Sound engineer is Javier Quiroga. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listentokrdp.com.